those that are on the judging team, you've heard that before. For those that don't know me, I'm Nick Wells. I am a former Livestock Judging Team member, and I also served as the judging team coach here from 1978 to 1996. And it brings back lots and lots of memories. Some good, some others. But this is why we're all here, to share those memories. To get the evening kind of kicked off, we've got a lot of fun things kind of to plan to do. We're gonna have an invocation. We're gonna run through the line, and then we're gonna call Don Woodburn, who was kind of he wasn't the first judging team coach, but he was kind of the first real judging team coach, maybe the best way to put that. And so we'll get that started. And to lead us in our invocation is Keller Metzger. And Keller is a member of the latest Livestock Judging Team here at Colby Community College.
Would you bow your heads? Dear Lord, we come to you in thanksgiving. Thanksgiving for the opportunity that many in this room have had to judge livestock here at Colby Community College, and that I and my teammates have to judge in the future here. And we thank you for the opportunity that we all have at Colby Community College to study agriculture and progress that industry. And we thank you for this food. We ask that you bless it to our bodies. We also ask that you provide safe travels for all those who drove quite a ways to get here tonight. And we ask these things in your name. Amen. Amen.
I don't know if Jen and I really talked about how we're going to do the flow, but it'll probably work better if we kind of work in a clockwise motion. You guys are the last to sit down, first to go. Yeah.
We like that.
So we'll go down the cross, serpentine. You'll figure it out. Kind of like a Baptist convention. All right.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, Howard. Yes. Am
Yep, you're on.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to read a letter that Don wrote, and then Don can follow up on that said letter. Okay. Bear with me. I am very, very sorry that I will not be able to attend the reunion. The problem is that I have some medical issues that prohibit extended travel. It would be great to see all of you. Kathy and I live on a beautiful lake in Bella Vista, Arkansas. It was a perfect place to retire 7 years ago. We enjoy boating, fishing, and entertaining our family, including 13 grandchildren. I have had a very rewarding career in higher education, including the last 23 years as a CEO of 3 different colleges. I want to tell you that in all of my experiences, the one that was the most fun and the most rewarding was coaching livestock judging teams at Colby Community College. The reason that it was so much was because of the outstanding young men and women I had the opportunity to coach and work with. In fact, I believe that's the reason I became a successful community college president. It was because of you. I learned so much about working with talented people while coaching that I carried over for an entire career. I remember writing a resume once and counting 27 significant contests, which we won in 6 years. In 1974, Nick, a student at the time, and I developed a new oral reason style that completely dominated the reason room for the next 15 years. There is no doubt that Colby Community College was a dominant community college livestock judging program for almost 2 decades, and you were the judges. When I left Colby to pursue my PhD, I convinced Dr. Tangeman to hire Nick Wells as the new coach, and he did a better job than me. Looking back on it, I recognize that I was very demanding of you and tough as well. I apologize for that and for the lack of people skills that I had at the time. There is not a day goes by that I don't think of you. There is love in my heart for every single one of you, and I would love to talk to you. If you so desire, call me or text me. Adios.
You just about got a standing ovation.
The reality of it, Becky, is those kids made us
Well, you're on.
I lay with my beautiful wife. There she is. Now she deserves a medal.
How about one of your favorite memories of coaching here at Colby Community College?
Oh, I have a million memories. I'm traveling. I think one of the most favorite. We took about 20 kids to Wooster, Ohio, with that old white weenie bus. It broke down. I think you drove most of the way. And we didn't win the livestock contest, but we won the dairy contest, and we won the soils contest, and we won the horse judging contest. And I think Doug Hayes, high and invisible, the horse contest. But one of my favorite memories is that trip.
Seth, do you hear that? Buses broke down then too.
The starter fell off of it.
Yeah, you were driving. They would crawl underneath and fixed it. That was funny.
You may got a piece of wire?
Just red ridge and fixed it. That was funny. I got a kick out of that.
Hey, Dawn.
Yeah.
So we have this year's judging team in attendance tonight. Do you have any advice for them?
Listen to your coach. You get in a contest and you think you know what's going on, and you don't. Listen to your coach and do what you're told to do. Fucking wrong.
Thanks, everybody.
Anybody have a question for Dawn?
New coach. Where's the new coach? Ask him a question. More feet.
Yeah,
Well,
how
I
about
would
some
love to hear
advice?
from every one of you.
Hey, Dawn,
And, but
one more question. How about some advice for Logan, the livestock judging coach?
well, you probably need to be a little more tactful with thinking of it.
What the hell are you talking about?
Last call for
Well,
questions.
I would say to Logan also that you need to enjoy this. You need to enjoy working with these fine young people. And you need to treasure the memories. And you need to learn more than them.
Thank you. Those are good words.
Well, thanks for being on, Don. We appreciate you taking and sharing the time with us. We wish you could have been here. We got a whole room full of former team members.
Well, you can tell every story you want to about me, and it's probably true. Well, thank you for that. Thank you.
Don, thank you for all your years of service to Colby and to higher education.
Well, I loved it. It was just an accident I got to Colby. And Jim Tenchman, based on a recommendation from Don Good, hired me over the telephone. And I never won a judging contest. I was second about 4. I did win a chicken judging contest. And refused to touch it. Refused to look at it. And I just got lucky, and that's the only judging contest I ever won. Until I got to Colby.
How fun.
God bless you all. God
Thanks.
bless you all.
Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye, Don. How about that for 10 minutes?
That's pretty good. There were lots of stories about him.
Might not be right, but it's damn sure official.
Well, you want to introduce Logan?
We do.
Okay.
Our current judging coach is Logan Despain, and we are so glad to have him here at Colby. We're really excited about the program that he is in the early stages of building. We hope we get to keep him for a very long time. His beautiful wife Laurel is here with him tonight as well. So give them a round of applause.
Yeah, like Jen said, my name is Logan Despain, and I'm very, very lucky and grateful to be in the position that I am in. I was kind of throughout the day, I was peeking my head in and kind of going along if we were able to go on the campus tours that we went on and out through the farm tour, and just kind of being in the shoes that I was in, just being able to listen to all of you share stories and kind of reminisce and all those sorts of things, and kind of got me to thinking of, I don't think there's any other, pretty darn close to any other activity that a person can do or program that someone can be in that will reflect and result in the same lessons that are learned, the same friendships that are made, and relationships that are made. So, being a younger coach in the shoes that I am, it's awesome to know that there's tons of supporters for us as alumni to continue and make this program continue to go forth. So thank you. I appreciate everyone coming out today. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our president of the college, Dr. Seth Carter, and he's going to go ahead and come up and share a few words with us. So thank you again, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the night.
Good evening. How's everyone? I feel bad. Logan sold you all a bill of false goods there. Anyone that's ever listened to me speak knows I don't say a few words on anything, so I apologize for that. My name is Seth Carter. I've been at Colby Community College for almost 8 years now, and I got to spend time with several of you today. Can't tell you how special that was, how nice that was to get to hear stories about how special Colby Community College was to all of you. I mean, whether it was through the livestock judging, just the memories that you're all able to build, that's what I want for every student. Anytime someone looks back on their academic career, I was fortunate enough I got to go to 5 different colleges. I did get degrees from each of them. I wasn't just hanging out playing Nintendo. I was able to go through and do that, but I can look anyone in the face and say the most special memory I had was going to a community college. That is why I do what I do today. I want everyone to have that same lasting, permeating impression. For everyone in here right now, how many people know how many community colleges are in the state of Kansas? Sheila, you're 19. Some people were taking notes today when they listened to me speak. I always get asked several questions, and I can just go through and give these all to you really quick like. Colby Community College, out of the 19, where do you think our graduation rate ranks amongst 19? Number 1. We have been number 1 5 out of the last 8 years. Going through and taking this a step further, there are 19 community colleges in the state of Kansas. Where do you think we are amongst student retention? We had been number 1, Sheila. I'm sorry. We dipped down to number 2. So I'm sorry. We failed you all on that, but still pretty high going through and looking at that. We were just named in the top 6% of colleges in the nation. We were just awarded that earlier this week. If you've not been on campus in a while, hopefully you will start to see some of the improvements, some of the different things that we've been really working on. So over the last 8 years, when I started at Colby Community College, we had about $234,000 in unrestricted cash. Today, as it sits, we have a little over $21 million in unrestricted cash. There is only one community college with positive enrollment growth over the last 5 years in the state of Kansas. If anybody would like to guess which college that is, I may be leading the witness on this, but I'm trying to help you get there. That's Colby. We've grown 800 students since 2015. Right now, we can pull records going back 20 years, going through in a year-to-date enrollment assessment. We are up 1,000 credit hours over our peak enrollment right now. So it has been very, very good. The average community college in the state of Kansas is down a little bit under 18% on average over the last 5 years. So Colby's been very fortunate, very blessed. But the truth behind that is it's the quality of people we have. My mentor, when I first started in education, he always said, Seth, it's really cheap when people say, we're going to be premier. We're going to be premier. And he would be very blunt with me, so I apologize. There's swearing involved in this. He would tell me that's horseshit. He said, you're not going to be premier in anything. He said, you're not going to have more money than a K-State. You're not going to have more money than a KU. But what you can be is preferred. You can make students want to come to your institution by the way you treat them, by the way we interact with them, the memories that we help them form. And that's always the impression that I have every day when we're fortunate enough to work with students to get to serve individuals to help them reach their educational goals. I know a lot of you are very interested in here. What are we doing with agriculture? Well, it's funny you should ask. Nobody asked me, but that's okay. We are actually in the process of building a new agricultural center. It is going to sit adjacent to the Stanley Carr Agricultural Center. It'll be connected through glass panes. We will be officially awarding a vendor hopefully August 22nd. That is this Monday. The project is anticipated to cost $3.5 million. We have secured $2.4 million before making an official public announcement so far. Colby Community College, if you count the event center that we partner with the city on, we have added $20.5 million worth of new buildings on campus since 2020. This building will push us to a little over $24 million in new facilities. You all heard my story, several of you, when we were on tour earlier today. I had a father my first year when I started at Colby. He said, I came here in 1986. He said, the place looks identical. I thought, oh God, that's not a compliment. You don't ever want that. You want to have continuous progress. You want people to be able to see what we're working towards, what we're trying to do. And every time I look at this, I view this as a commitment to continuous improvement. It's got to be done on a continuum. We have to continue to get better all the time. Several of you don't know my educational philosophy. As a very pragmatic, not very intelligent man, there's no such thing as stagnation in education. You're either progressing or you're regressing. It's one of the two. You're getting better, you're getting worse. That's as simple as I can make it sound. But if you look at what Colby Community College is doing and how we're trying to serve students, we've remodeled every dorm on campus in the last 7 years. Every dorm has been remodeled with the exception of Embry Hall. We're now in the process of going through and replacing that. For all of you that were students at Colby, the furniture was the same up until December of 2021. We got our money out of that, I can tell you that. We replaced over 1,300 pieces of furniture during Christmas break. That's a chore. I can tell you, I wish I'd have called that one in because we moved so much furniture trying to get it updated, getting it upgraded. We replaced all of our fiber throughout campus. That was a $500,000 project. You know, the bus story, Jim, where are you at? That story really resonates with me. When I got to Colby Community College, our best bus had 1.3 million miles on it. That's real. And it was not good. Parents would call all the time. Your bus keeps breaking down. We know. We're trying to get it fixed. Because that's never a conversation you want to have with a parent. Why does this bus not work? Well, if I knew that, ma'am, I would have the bus fixed. I can assure you that. We would get it replaced, get it taken care of. We're now in the process of purchasing a new 56-passenger bus. We're going through and getting bids on that. But we did turn over all of our vehicle fleet. We have remodeled 147 areas on campus. So as you go through and look at that, again, it's a commitment to continuous improvement. This is done on a continuum. There is no end to this. You have to keep working. You have to keep doing these things. Because if we don't, we're not going to be fortunate enough to serve students. The whole reason Colby Community College exists is to serve students. That's it. It's a very simple mission. We are here to help achieve these individuals' unique and respective goals. That's something I never lose sight of. And if you ever need to draw inspiration on what it is, you look at the quality of people you get to work with every day, trying to help them get that goal. That is something extremely unique and extremely special. And in my opinion, that's what Colby Community College does better than any other community college. I'll put us against any university in the state of Kansas as well. It's the way we make people feel. It's the way we treat them. The agricultural center, I'll digress all the way back to that. That building will be, it'll be a new 12,000 square foot building. If you're familiar with the Stanley Carr Agricultural Center, it'll sit slightly adjacent to that. One of the most common questions I get is why are we not lining it up? The city has a natural gas line there. There's a 50-foot easement. I don't know if you all priced moving a gas line. It's not cheap. So we are going to sit slightly offset from that. It will be a first floor and a basement. It'll be probably about 12,400 square feet. It will be dedicated to agriculture. We currently have 16 employees, full-time employees tied to agriculture, 19 if you count our part-time as well. So we do have a lot of heavy emphasis in this. Several of you went out to the college farm today. As of last year, we spent $1.1 million doing new fencing, doing new irrigation. Trying to fix the erosion issues out there as well with the soil. We are deeply committed to getting this correct because I am acutely aware in our area, the major form of business and industry is all predicated on agriculture. in my opinion, Colby Community College has 3 unique opportunities for growth: agriculture, healthcare. We also teach at the prison. You may not care about the third one, but the prison as well. One of the unique challenges we have is population density. You go through and you look. I remember when I started at Colby Community College, the University of Nebraska put out a study. We were in Educan. Don Woodburn and I, he was at Dodge City when I first started at Colby. And we had the University of Nebraska put out a study that went through and said, based on the demographics of individuals ages 18 to 49, we can anticipate the following number of people needing a formal education within a 150-mile radius. Everybody got their numbers back, and I was able to see everything. We had Barton, Pratt, Seward, Garden City, Dodge City, and Colby. Going through and looking at everybody, they're like, you guys have all this enrollment opportunity, you have all these different initiatives you can accomplish. I get Colby's numbers. Everybody was 100,000 plus individuals. What do you think Colby's was? I will always remember this. 14,000. We live in an area where we have 50 times as many cattle as we do people. Last time I checked, cattle aren't taking courses. So we have to continue to get better every day. We have to continue to branch out in operation, because honestly, if we don't evolve, we won't make it. I know that's very blunt, but that's just the fact. We could get every student in Northwest Kansas and still not maintain our operational budget. We've got to bring people into the area. And when I think about agriculture, that's one of the unique ways we can do it. There is so much opportunity here. I grew up in Southeast Kansas, and it's a state within the state. Anyone that's ever lived in different areas, you can really identify with that statement. Southeast Kansas, there's not a lot of opportunity. Northwest Kansas, Western Kansas, all kinds of opportunity. And I think we should really take advantage of that. And I think the more people we can get to be here, the better off we're all going to be. So that's what I'm committed to, and that's kind of my 5-minute elevator speech. Remember, Logan, what I told you. You pay me for 3 words, I'll give you at least 5. Does anybody have any questions or concerns that I can address? Remember, silence is conformity, so when I put the mic down, you were all willing and compliant.
How about the rodeo team?
So yeah, we actually brought back the rodeo team. We'd gone on a 2-year hiatus. A rodeo is very unique for us because we lose a tremendous amount of money on rodeo. Going through and doing that. Yeah, and if you look at the numbers across the state of Kansas, if you go through and look at NYRA numbers are actually up as a whole. State of Kansas rodeo participants are way, way, way down. So that is a unique challenge. This year we do have, I believe, 14 or 15 rodeo students. So those numbers are up quite a bit going through and doing that. But again, COVID really posed some unique challenges because we didn't know if we were going to be able to have rodeos during that time. Colby still hosted 2 rodeos. I was fortunate enough I got to be the organizer on both of those. So if you want to know that level of commitment, I know more about rodeos than I ever cared to learn. My beautiful wife back there, Cody, you can wave to everybody. She comes from a rodeo family, so her dad's always willing to give me advice and help me there. And if you're wondering, how did she wind up with someone like me, she bought that stock high. We've been together since we were in high school. There's been a precipitous drop. So it's too late to turn around now. Too late to turn around. But yeah, we're really comfortable with the direction we're heading with rodeo. It's definitely getting back to what it needs to be. Any other questions?
Can we afford to keep you?
Colby Community College has been very, very good to my family and I. I owe a tremendous amount of debt to Colby. Blake Flanders is not here tonight. I wish Blake was. Blake hired me at the Board of Regents. And when Blake's a big part of the reason why I wound up at Colby. So Dr. Flanders, I owe a tremendous amount to him. I always remember he came in my office and he said to me, Seth, he said, you have no chance of getting that job. So, well, thank you. And there's nothing like when people believe in you. There's a certain motivation that comes with that. And Colby was in a very unique spot. I don't know if you all kind of know our background, what we've been through. In 2015, Colby Community College was placed on, or 2014 actually, we were placed on probation from the Higher Learning Commission. Someone at the Board of Regents named Seth Carter put Colby Community College on a corrective action plan. and then I became the president here. That was a fun transition. We were on heightened cash monitoring from the Department of Education. We were averaging an accreditation visit every 23 days. So it was really, really rough. And this is the advice Blake gave me, and I would say this in front of him. He told me this first bit of advice: you have no shot at getting the job. Perfect. His second advice was there's a high probability that college is going to close. So if you go there, it'll be the end of your career. Call that motivation. So Colby has been tremendous to me and my family. The day we signed our contract, we found out we were pregnant with our second child. This is the only home my kids know. We've been very, very fortunate, very blessed to be here. And I think if you look at some of the initiatives we've been able to accomplish here, you don't do that any other place other than Colby, Kansas. So.
Thank you. I didn't mean for you to quit talking. I just meant thank you for your.
I think everyone should.
We're here because we love Colby Community College. We don't want it to close. We're glad. So thank you.
All right, the girls are going to bring around a sheet to everyone, and we're going to ask for some information on that. First is just your basic contact information, and please fill this out absolutely completely. As you know, going through this invite process, it was sometimes hard. I mean, some of you did not receive your invitation because we had a black hole of, we did through some rough years. We didn't have our records updated for literally 8 years, and that will haunt us for quite a long time. And so when we can reconnect and find you, we want to stay in touch with you. And we're doing a lot more with social media and digital storytelling. And we just went live with a podcast the 1st of August, but we were waiting until next week to really push that to the public. But just even recruited one of the judging team members to our team, Keller. Very excited about that today. So we have a lot of exciting things going on, and we want to stay in touch with you. So please make sure that you fill this out completely. In addition to your contact information, there is an ask. Now, Seth is very good about asking for financial assistance with our different programs, and I kind of like to ask too. I love to give and I love to invest in all of the projects that we do, and I like to make sure, especially when it's an initiative coming from the foundation, I do my darndest to be one of the very first to write a check to the foundation, because I feel like you can't push and you can't encourage others to give if you're not willing to do that yourself. And Seth has done the absolute same thing to probably a much higher level, but he is giving to this project as well. I think he's committed $10,000 or $11,000 to the ag renovation project. Is that correct? And I really appreciate his philosophy and his investment in each and every one of the new projects that we have that we've accomplished since you've been here. So that speaks volumes, and I just want to, in front of everyone, I want you to know how thankful I am for that help. So there is an ask. The second thing on this sheet is an ask. And I don't like to say, would you like to give back? Because that implies that you took something while you were here. And so what I'm asking is if you believe in what Colby Community College did for you, and if you're willing and able and would like to invest what we're doing now and in the future, then consider a gift to one of our projects, either to the current ag building, the current ag renovation project, or to the livestock judging team. And you can always choose any other fund that we have as well, but these are two initiatives that I think will be near and dear to your heart. It can be a pledge. It does not have to be a gift tonight, but please keep this on your mind and think about that. And then the final thing that we're asking on this sheet is, when would you like to get together again? Because this has been fun. We have been so excited to have you guys here, and We want to know how soon you'd like to do it again. So kind of mark that in and indicate what your desire is as well. So the girls will start to bring this around. And then before we transition and have Nick come on up, let's give Seth one more round of applause. Nick, if you'll come on up.
Thank you all for being here tonight. I think it's incredible. I was fortunate to talk to some people who come from Texas. We've had, and I know this is more of God's country than Texas. I'm sure you can all identify with that. Ohio, it's absolutely incredible. Thank you all.
I'm going to pass the mic over to Nick, but Nick, before I do and before you call up all of our special guests, I would just like to also acknowledge Nick and thank him for all of his years of service to coaching and also to the work that he did in the foundation. He was obviously my predecessor, and I draw on the work that he's done on a daily basis, and he was a tremendous asset to the college and pushed our initiatives forward to a high degree. And so he's big shoes to follow, and I appreciate his mentorship. So Nick, I'll pass the mic to you, and I appreciate you.
It was fun. Now to the part of the reunion that we all like the best. The pole. When I left Colby the first time, Woodburn I should go back a little bit about Woodburn conned me into coming up here and judging. I graduated from high school and I was doing exactly what I wanted to do. And he was relentless. He called me almost weekly. I want you to come up and judge for me. And he finally, a week before school started, he caught me at a weaker moment and I came. And I had such a good time judging. And we were pretty successful. And then I went on with several students that I judged with, and we went on and judged together. And then once again, I got a job doing exactly what I wanted to do. And he called me one day, and we were weaning a bunch of bull calves to get ready to go on test. He said, "Hey, would you come up and fill in as a judging team coach till I find one?" And I thought about it, and he kept conning me, and he said, "You're going to be up judging the Tri-State Royal this weekend. I want you to stop in and see Tangeman and me." And they conned me into doing it. And I didn't plan on staying very long. And I think those first students that I had probably were in hopes that I didn't stay. And after about 2 years, I went to Tangeman and I said, "Hey, are you ever going to find somebody to do this?" And he said, "I think we have." And so I rode that horse 18 years. It was a fun trip. When Woodburn and we later joined hands again, or joined whatever, at Nebraska College of Technical Ag in Curtis. And that's what brings us reunion back, because before that was Nebraska College of Technical Ag, that was the State of University State High School. And as Director of Student Services up there, I got to do lots of 50-year reunions. And that campus was over 100 years old. And when they built that, Ag Hall had a huge boiler down in the basement of it, and it had steam lines that went out to all the other buildings on campus. And then those steam lines run through tunnels, and that's how the kids, when inclement weather, got from the classrooms and back and forth to the dorms. So when those reunions would come back, that's the first place they wanted to go. We wanted to go down to those steam tunnels. I said, "Well, they sealed them off." And they said, "What?" I said, "Well, after they found that skeleton, they sealed them off." Well, everybody wanted to know who it was, and I'd kind of play with them a little bit. And I said, "All right, Hide and go seek champion, 1958. Okay, let's get on with this poll. Who came the farthest? Who's farther than Oakley? Who's farther than Kansas City? Who's farther than St. Louis?
I don't know how far is St. Louis.
I don't know. So Jeff, how far is it to where you're from? Somebody's here from Ohio. Anybody farther than that?
Yeah.
Well, that's going so well. Let's do another. Who's got the most kids? You got more than 8? 7? Bingo, we got a winner.
We're not surprised.
Who is it?
I can't see that far.
Jeff Chester.
How many kids?
I mean, got 7. Good job, Jeff. Who's got the most grandkids? Has anybody got more than 10? 8? 8? All right, Reg. Anybody got more? That might 8's a winner, Reg Phillips. It's cold up there in the mountains. Who's got the newest grandkid? I do. Unless you got one younger than 10 days, it's me. I had to write a category I could win. Most great grandkids. Anybody got 4?
It's gonna be long before I'm
6?
or after.
No takers? Who drives a Ford? Hey, there's some hands. Yeah. Who drives a Chevy? Who's a quarter horse? Tricked you, Dodge boys. Okay, let's get on with this pounding. Let's see. Who'd you say, Jim? Mike Beatty. Scott Jacobs, Christy Hammer, Lauren Marshall,
And Don Topliff.
and Donnie Todd. So,
It's in your head. The best way.
okay, so we're gonna pass that down, and I'll put one on the other end. But each one of you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you do, and then basically what we're going to try to get to is how the Colby Community College Livestock Judging Program helped you in your career. Start
Okay. I'm Don Topliff. I'm a 1973 graduate. I was on the 1973 team. I'm currently the Vice President for Academic Affairs at Angelo State University. I've been in higher education 38 years. Spent 15 years as a professor at Oklahoma State, 17 years as a department head, associate dean and dean at West Texas A&M, and I've been at Angelo State now for 7.5 years. You want the rest of it? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, so like Nick, Don conned us too. Alan Townsend and I were standing in line to register for our sophomore year, and Don walked up to us in the line, and back then he was still wearing those pop bottle glasses that were about that thick, and told us, he said, "You boys come judge for me and we'll win a national championship." And we looked at each other and thought, oh my God, what is this all about? And so he left, and Alan said to me, he said, well, so what do you think? I said, well, we didn't really have anything else to do. I guess it won't hurt to try. And so we did, and we were actually, I think, the first team to win a national contest here at Colby. We won Houston. I was high individual at Fort Worth. This watch that I'm wearing tonight is the watch that you saw, if you saw that picture of me holding a watch. This watch is 50 years old, and it still keeps really good time. I pulled it out of my jewelry box just for this event. So when I was at Oklahoma State, I was the horse judging team coach there. Was fairly successful. I think we won, in 15 years, we won 37 national contests. And it was because of what I learned from Don and what I learned here at Colby Community College. Just a real quick aside, one of the things that also was a result of that, I spent 30 years as an American Quarter Horse Association judge. I've judged 13 World Championship quarter horse shows. I judged the European National Championships 3 times, the Brazilian National Show twice, the Mexican National Show 4 or 5 times. Judged in 17 countries. I've judged on every continent except Antarctica, and there are no horses in Antarctica. So, but that was a result of what I learned here and was able to sort of parlay throughout my career. A lot of stories. I actually spent about a month in Abu Dhabi working on racing camels. And the people that owned those camels wanted me to tell them which ones would be the fastest. And I told them I didn't know anything about camels, but I would look at them. And so they had 10 young camels that were in training out there in the desert. And so I went and looked at them, and after a little while, I said, what if they were horses, what would I look for? And so I found 2 of them that I thought looked pretty good. So I went back and I said, well, again, I don't know anything about camels, but if they were horses, that one and that one, we would spend some time and effort on. And they just looked at me in amazement. They said, that's our 2 best prospects. And then I said, and if that one was a horse, we beat me. And then they laughed. They said, he's on the menu next week. So you never know where it's going to take you.
That's hard to beat. So I'm Mike Beam. I was here in 74 to 76. I was on the 75 judging team. We went to Denver and won Denver. And after that, went to Kansas State. And basically for 38 years, I worked for the Kansas Livestock Association. So the privilege I had that was just to get to meet many of you in this room, but throughout the state, worked largely on governmental affairs, representing members. And then in January 2019, I was asked to serve as the Secretary of Agriculture. So it's been a real blessing. But none of that would have been possible without the experience here at Colby and to the judging team. So I was one of those graduating in 74. I didn't know quite what I wanted to do. I'd read an article in an ag magazine about Colby Community College and its wonderful 2-year program in ag. So this is the time you didn't really have to apply in advance. I was on a harvest crew and called Dad and said, come get me. We went to Colby, I think it was early August, and had open enrollment. And went into the union, was going to sign up, and here's this guy just waiting to meet people and get him signed up, and his name was Don Woodward. And he said, you need to go out for the judging team. And I had never thought about that. And we had a great time. We met so many, we have so much fun getting together with our teammates. So it's not just what you learn from the judging team experience. It's really too bad that can't be replicated at a grander scale because it really enriches the life of a college student. But like I said, I would not have went on to college. I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do what I had if it had not been for Don Woodburn telling me enrollment, I should go after the team. So it's been a real great ride, and I owe it all to Colby Community College and to Don Woodburn.
Hi, I'm Christy Hammer. When I attended here in 93 and 94, my name was Christy Grunt. And unlike these two individuals, I knew where I wanted to go and that I wanted to be on the judging team. And so I followed a long line of judges because I judged in 4-H, and all the good judges in this area went to Colby Community College. And so that's where I wanted to be. My brother came here, and a lot of my friends came here. You know, that's before social media. You saw your friends whenever you went to a judging contest, but you never saw them again. So it was fun to meet up with the Western Kansas kids that came to judge here. So I came here for the reputation that Colby Community College had. And my parents were also very frugal, so they also said, you need to go to Colby because it's 60 miles away, and when we need your help, you'll be real close, and it's pretty affordable. And so those were the decisions that I made, but I really wanted to judge for Nick. And we had some experiences showing cattle together as his family and my family, and so had a relationship there already. But so I did go to Colby 93, 94. I then went on to Fort Hays State and got my degree in education. And I spent 23 years as a high school science teacher and in Sharon Springs, which is my hometown. And so I'm a hometown girl, went back there for 23 years as a teacher. In education, I feel like we're struggling a little bit to get good quality teachers, good quality administrators. And I was really getting tired as a teacher of having a new administrator every 2 years. And so I decided to made a decision that instead of complaining about it, I was going to go do something about it. And so I went back and got my master's in building leadership and was the 6 through 12 principal for 2 years. And once again, we had an administrator leave, and the school board asked me to get my superintendent's license. So I'm just starting my 26th year of education and at the high school level. I will be a K-5 principal and the superintendent this year. I really look forward to that opportunity. Being a hometown girl, there's a lot of things that are negative about having to come back. People know you, people know what they don't like about you. But I also feel like it's an opportunity to make my community better because I want to see kids back into Northwest Kansas. I think we've had an outflux of students out of our area, our school, but out of Northwest Kansas. And so I'd really like to get kids back in this area and provide opportunities for them. So that's one of my goals as an administrator, is to provide opportunities and have kids help be a part of solving some of those issues that are in the Northwest Kansas area. So I'm looking forward to that. But as I think about what judging did for me and where I am today, I feel like making a decision, being decisive. I had a little bit of a reputation as a teacher that you were going to come in, you're going to sit down, you were going to learn. There was a lot of high expectations. I just felt like it helped my classroom management a lot. But there was high expectations in my room, and I feel like I want to take that to my school as an administrator as well. But being decisive, being disciplined, and working hard. I guess I really feel like I got all of that out of judging. Nick always had high expectations. If you didn't do good in the reasons, you ain't going home till you get your reasons right, and you can cry if you want to, but you're going to get your reasons right before you leave. So crying doesn't work. Anyway, I just felt like I grew up with high expectations, but that was also expected of me as I judged at Colby, and I take that back to my job as well. So, but I really feel like Colby Community College, it's just near and dear to my heart, and Nick, and he's stayed in contact with us and with our family, and it's the relationships, it's the people you know, and yeah, I mean, I loved Max Pickerel, and he's a big reason why I became a science teacher, but it was the relationship that I had with Max that led me to the job that I had, as well as Nick. So those are the people that you just really look up to, and that drives where you want to go in life. And I'm really appreciative of what I got at Colby Community College, and has been a big part of where I am today.
My name is Lorna Marshall. I'm Vice President of the Select Sires Beef Program today. I'm a Kansas native, but I came from Wichita, Kansas, so unlike a lot of students that come to Colby, I came from a less than rural population, and have kind of a unique story because my Colby I guess, path was a little different in that I was actually recruited to Colby by a fellow Colby student. So Dave Spears, who's here tonight, was my 4-H livestock judging team coach in Sedgwick County. And Dave had been to Colby Community College, and so when I was starting to look at colleges, he actually encouraged me to come up out to Colby and take a look. And I remember my mom and I driving out from Wichita, Kansas, thinking, wow, this is a long ways. We had a great visit. Nick was on his best behavior. My mom had no idea what was in store, and absolutely loved the college, Seth. A lot of the things that you talk about in terms of engagement, I was totally sold on and very excited about coming out here. And when I came to college, I think most of my teammates and Nick would tell you that I was fairly naive as to maybe what being on a livestock judging program was like. I was the only girl on most of the teams, both in junior college and senior college, and so Nick taught me a lot about resilience, problem-solving skills. I distinctly remember winter workout, wagon wheel, Angus Ranch. I marked a class of Angus bulls, and it's kind of, I think, funny these days that actually I buy Angus bulls for a living for the beef industry, and I remember Nick taking a look at the card that I turned in, and rather than saying anything to me, he just took his foot, dug a hole in the ground, dropped the card, and then covered it up with manure. And so I learned that I was going to have to be mentally tough if I was going to survive Nick's livestock judging program. And so I would say the mental toughness that Nick taught me in junior college has served me very well in my professional career as I negotiate with bull owners every day and negotiate contracts. A lot of what I learned at Colby Community College has paid off throughout my career. Some other interesting facts. So being the only girl on the judging team and maybe being a little bit naive to the livestock judging world, there was a few places that maybe we pulled into after some judging contests that I just didn't feel comfortable going into. And so I got very good at entertaining myself in the van while maybe the rest of the judging team and the coach went into some of those places and Lorna just stayed in the van. I think the other benefit that it gave me is that early on, I was a female in a fairly male-dominated world, and I think a lot of what I learned at Colby Community College, particularly with my teammates, and they would tell you this, is that I learned how to handle myself as a female in a male-dominated world, and what to expect and how to kind of get along with everybody, and those kind of things. And similar to Mr. Toploff's experience, I've had the opportunity to judge some shows in South America. I've got to travel to Europe and Russia and Australia and lots of places around the world to evaluate livestock, and none of that would have happened, honestly, if it hadn't been for Dave and for Nick and the influence that they had on my life. So for that, I will be eternally grateful.
Well, I am Scott Jacobs, and unlike everybody else, I was not recruited to come to Colby Community College. I lived in Indiana. I graduated from high school in 1979 and was lucky enough to be serving as a state FFA officer at the time, having no idea what I was going to do when I got done with that year of service. And I was speaking at a FFA banquet at a neighboring school, and a kid I knew there, we developed a relationship, knowing each other next door. And I said, "Hey, what are you doing next year?" He goes, "Well, I found a school in northwestern Kansas that has a sheep program that I think I'm going to go to." And I said, "Well, that sounds real interesting." He goes, "They've got a livestock judging team you might be interested in." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I said, "What's the name of the place?" And I went home and wrote a letter and got a letter back in the mail from a guy by the name of Nick Wells praising the academics and Christian atmosphere of the livestock judging. And I said, "Sign me up." And so fast forward to August, and I'm at the Indiana State Fair, and a gentleman from Kansas by the name of Joe Lewis is judging the steer show, and goes out and makes a Hereford grand champion at the Indiana State Fair. And, that was like a big roar at the time. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. And I'm walking back from that to my car. The next day, I'm leaving to come to Colby. And I happened to see the young gentleman that we're going to school with. He's going to be my roommate. I said, "Hey, when are you leaving?" "I'm going tomorrow." And he goes, "I'm not." And I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, that's too far. I'm not going to go." So the next morning I got up and thought, well, nothing else to do. Let's just drive 900 miles. And I get here, and I remember in Indiana at that time, anybody that could drink, you had to be 21 years of age. And I remember getting to Colby, Kansas, where the drinking age was 18. And, wow, that was kind of different. But what I do now, related to what I did here, is I'm a high school agriculture teacher. And I've done that for many years. As a matter of fact, I'm lucky enough to earn my pension. This is my last year. This is my swan song. And when I think about, the benefits of this place for me, as you can tell, I really didn't have a whole lot planned, so it worked out great in my academic scheme to be here. And it made somebody that didn't realize they had the potential to go to college. It was, the judging team was the bait, but, the benefit was the stuff you learned from, Nick and, Harlan Tifo and Gary Dolan and those people. And I think, everybody talks about Pick, and oh my gosh, just, I don't think I could have made it through chemistry if it wasn't for Pick's passion. And as a teacher, I've never forgotten the passion he had for students. I've had some livestock judging teams, and I think, Nick, you'll probably agree with this, that it takes good students to make a good coach. And
They make you look a lot better.
yeah, they do. Thank you. And I've had 2 teams win the National FFA contest, and we've had 3 teams go over to Edinburgh, and they won that twice. And along the way, it's amazing how much we've come in contact with the people that I went to college with, like Dr. Rusk back here, and, we've been to Greg Stewart's to work out, and, we've seen, Kent McCune at Denver, and, some of the other people that, we worked out here in northwestern Kansas when we were getting ready for Denver. And those are, the friendship and the network. That's the value behind this. Yes, there's nothing wrong with winning. Let's never forget that, okay? But boy, the network of friendships you have are something you live, with you the rest of your life. And I think that's the biggest thing is the friendships and the network. Is that good?
You didn't do too bad. I've been down to 46.
You didn't tell him you were a student body president.
Well, student body president. Nick made sure everybody on the judging team walked down and voted.
For quite a while, we did dominate student government. And Zeth was talking about academics. The Colby Community College Livestock Judging Team excelled in the academics all the way. I didn't put up with that. We had to travel too much, and so for the instructors to let them make up their work and everything, they had to be really good students. So, I don't know we ever had an average of 3.95, but 3.75 was not out of question. So I was always proud of the fact that we made our mark. Does anybody have a question for any of these panelists? Surely there's something that they were going through that you want to go a little deeper on. Lorna? I really don't remember you sitting in the van that long. But she could hold a beer can longer than anybody I've ever seen. Same one. You need another Norton? No, I'm good. And she learned that from her mother. That was always another fun part about coaching, was the relationships that I had with the whole family.
Here, switch mics. There you go.
You don't like this one?
No?
How about this one?
Yeah.
I'll shut this one off.
Goodbye. Anything else you want to talk about? Anyway, it was, like I say, I'm thrilled that the administration has interest in building that program back, because we were, everybody can kind of tell a different story about where Colby Community College ranked in the grand scheme of things. You know, when I came to Colby in the fall of '73, there was really only about 10 community colleges that had judging programs. By the time I came back to coach in '78, everybody was catching on, and there was probably 25. And it got bigger than that. It got where at some of those national contests, there was up to 35 national teams, and 14 of the 19 schools in Kansas had judging programs because they had tremendous desire to beat Colby Community College. And it didn't happen very often. And when it did, I was pissed. Simple as that.
We know. God damn.
Well, I think, Jen, what else you want to do? I think probably everybody wants to just kind of visit and tell their funniest Don. I don't think we want to tell any Nick stories, but.
I agree. I think before we turn you loose to just visit and enjoy the rest of your evening, I think we should do a raffle.
All right.
What do you think, JC? Will you bring the picture?
I did hear one cute story if you want to hear it. It was kind of a deal with, you know, what livestock judging is all about. Basically, it's a program of learning a sales technique. And anyway, so the third grade class was having, they wanted to have this little fair deal, and they needed some money to put that on, and so the teacher suggested each one of them go out and raise, you know, $3, $5, $10, whatever they could, you know, to contribute to this program. And she said, over the weekend, do that, bring your money back in on Monday, and we'll see what kind of a deal we can put together. So they brought the money in on Monday, and got down to little Johnny, and he brought in $2,165. And that teacher said, my gosh, how did you do that? And he said, well, I went down there on the busiest corner downtown, and I set up a little stand and put samples of chips and dip. And he said they'd go by and he'd get them
get him a big old scoop of that dip and try that. He said, my God, he said, that tastes like dog shit. And he said, it is dog shit. You want to buy a toothbrush? Well, I liked it.
Drawing the winning ticket. Laurel, you want to come up as well? All right. So, Dino, where are you at? Dino, thank you so much for donating this beautiful print. Dino donated 3 to last night's benefit auction, and this very same print brought $3,900, which that's a record for our auction, and I think maybe a record for once you've donated as well.
Yeah, well, another one brought 5,000 one time, but they sold it a couple of times.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we are so honored to have these to sell and raffle, and thank you for your support.
We'll do it again.
The proceeds from the raffle are going directly to the Livestock Judging Team. So, guys, make sure you thank everyone on the way out. Before we transition and draw a winner, I do want to acknowledge the planning committee. John George is really the little brain behind this program, because a couple of years ago he started to invite alum that maybe hadn't been involved in the college for several years to the benefit auction, and started to fill his table with alum, and it just connected with folks, and they had a great time. And so we just really started to talk about the need to have another one of these and to get together more regularly. And so John is really behind this, and so I want to thank him. Sherry Higgins, also on the planning team, as was Doug Hayes, Alan Townsend, Logan, Nick, myself, and who else am I missing? Did I get everybody? Okay, but it was so fun to plan this event, and we met regularly in Zoom. I'm going to miss our Zoom land meetings. But thank you to everyone who was on that team, and we look forward to doing this again as well.
I just want to say, got the idea from Blake Flanders. He was trying to get Dino back up here, and so we were kind of kicking around. I said, well, I'm going to make one call, and it was to Jen, and she's, everything we asked her, she did, and we owe her a lot for this.
Thank you so much. There is absolutely no need for that. I'm simply doing my job, and it is an honor to serve you, and it's humbling and rewarding to know that you have a love and a likeness for the institution and are willing to come back and invest, and we thank you so very much for that. So without further ado, how about we find a winner? For the picture.
Number 136.
What's the name?
C. Randall. What do you got, Randall?
Who's got 136? There you go. We can put it back on the easel if you like for the evening. Okay, all right. Nick, would you like to give some final thoughts? Logan, any final thoughts?
Just thank you all. I was glad to be able to meet up a couple of us throughout the day. Just kind of thinking back to how people have been talking, kind of what Christy said, to kind of remind me of it is the reputation that Colby has. And so I'm very honored to be in a position to kind of follow the footsteps of Nick and Don and continue to, reignite and elevate the reputation that Colby has always had. So thank you very much and appreciate it.
Thank you guys for coming tonight. Please don't feel like you have to rush out. You're welcome just to stay and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Jen, thank you so much. I'd also like to invite, if you've got a couple minutes and want to meet me back there at the photo booth, we'd like to get some pictures, just kind of memorialize that you all were here and enjoyed the evening. So if you've got a minute, I'd love to bring you through the photo booth right quick, and it won't hurt too much. Meet me back there. Thank you.